Are you a deviant? You know, like those of us who binge watch serial killer programs, laugh at the stupid shit people do, and revel in anything adult? Well, you found your people. Join us as we crack open the door to the padded cell and release the insanely stupid, the weirdly wonderful, and those who choose to live outside societal norms. We'll delve into the strange, the macabre, the sexy, and the outrageous. So, if you're a deviant, then you have your place with us in the padded cell. Hello and welcome to episode 46 of the Padded Cell Podcast. I'm Vicky.
I'm Nancy.
And Ryan's not here.
No, he's just fucked off.
He's fucked off. As a lot of you know, we tend to record 2 episodes at a time, and we've just done our live, and Ryan's nipped off to do birthday present hunting, I think, hasn't he? Hope it's not pissing down for him.
Is it meant to rain again? It doesn't look like it's raining. It looks quite clear.
Piss it down early, didn't it? So thank you all for joining us. And when this goes out, it'll be the 1st of August, Nance.
Wow. That means I'm a weekend to being fucking 24/7 mum.
Oh, God, school holidays. I don't envy you, you know.
I hate it.
Obviously, you and Ryan have been talking about it.
It's just a lot.
I'm just glad I'm not doing it anymore. It's been a long time since I've done anything like that, and I just don't want to do it ever again. I've told you before, I think, I've said to our kids, don't bother having children until you can pay for babysitters, because I'm not going to be it. Nobody in the right mind would give me their kids, would they? Apart from Satan.
Satan's like quite happy with you.
Yeah. I know, but we're kindred spirits, aren't we? So yes, you will be well into the summer holidays by the time this goes out. I just can't believe it's going to be August.
I know.
It's just ridiculous.
It's absolutely flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah. The fact that it was like August last year that we filmed our first episode here. It didn't go out until September, but we filmed the first episode in August. And it just feels like 2 minutes since we started it. And do you know what's really nice? I don't know that you guys who've been with us from day one have seen a difference, but I go back on the old episodes. I watched episode 1 recently and I was cringing a little bit, I can't lie. A bit cringy. Not in like a really horrible way, but like, oh, we were so like new.
Stiff.
New, didn't know what the fuck we were doing, nervous. And then I've just seen our progression over the past 40 odd episodes. And we've come a long way, really, I think.
It's nice now, we just come in, sit down, chat shit.
Wing it. With a bit of a loose plan.
And it makes me laugh because this is the only time that we like sit down.
Yeah.
Just have a chat about whatever we're talking about. And then the second we walk out the door, we're both right, got this to do, got that to do. And we just go separate days and we're straight back into...
It's mad, isn't it? This is the only time we do get to talk
life,
properly. Yeah. So it's quite nice, really, isn't it? Because we wouldn't have time to talk normally. Knowing my voice notes are like, right, Nance, so this problem that we've got...
And it goes from thing 1, thing 2, and I'm like answering you back going, so this... And then that, and hang on, I need to listen again to see what the other thing was. Yeah,
because Vicky voice notes can be a little bit long. Then again, yours can be a bit hefty as well sometimes. Anyway.
We both know on the end of, sorry for the waffle. Went on a bit there.
Oh, sorry for the rant, actually. Mine have been a little bit ranty lately. So, 1st of August. Do you know what? Loads of things happened on the 1st of August. When I was looking through, I was like, I can't really pick one. Because been some really big things have happened. So I'm just going to tell you a few of them, actually. So it is going back a little bit, but the significance, so, you know, I'm going to give you a history lesson, so fuck off if you don't like it. In 1498, Christopher Columbus landed in South America. I think it was Argentina. He landed in first. In 1589, King Henry III was assassinated. These are like big things. In 1714, King George I was coronated. In 1774, Joseph Priestley discovered oxygen by isolating it in a gaseous state. Big things happened. You don't look very impressed. That really impressed me.
That went a bit over my head.
Okay, so he discovered oxygen. You know the thing that you fucking breathe every day?
I don't know that.
It's important.
Like, discovered what it is.
Yeah. But what, you know, he obviously thought...
So the people before that just think, I can breathe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's obviously broken down the compounds, hasn't he, and discovered oxygen. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I was dead impressed. In 1834, Great Britain abolished slavery and the Slavery Abolition Act came into effect. Big things.
That's crazy because that seems like, compared to the other dates, that's not that long ago.
No, 1834. I'm sad to say that slavery is still happening all across the world. Have you been in like toilets in places that said modern slavery stickers?
Loads of service stations on the motorway.
Yeah, I've seen that loads on service stations.
Yeah.
Must be common, mustn't it?
Yeah.
People in transit and all that. cunts, you fucking traffickers, cunts. And I'm sure they're watching us. And if you're not a trafficker...
You shouldn't have time to watch a podcast.
Well, they could be watching it on the journey.
Maybe they're listening. If you've got someone in your boot, let them out.
They could be watching it on the journey, though. And if you're not a trafficker, but you know one, you're a shit cunt for knowing one.
If you know one. You need to get new friends.
Just tell them that they're shit cunts. Anyway. And if you don't know what that means, if English isn't your first language, or you're not a Scouser, or you just haven't watched this podcast very much, there's different levels of cuntiness. And the other thing that I noticed from the first episode, we were going C-U-N-T until about episode 10, and then I just said cunt one day, and that was it. Yeah. So basically, in our language, cunt is not necessarily a bad word, is it? If we go, oh, you daft cunt, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Nancy was to buy me something nice, I'd go, oh, you daft cunt. Shouldn't have done that, but thank you. So it's like, no, cunt. But if somebody's like really pissed me off, they're a shit cunt.
Yeah.
And if somebody's a shit cunt, they never come back from that. They get blocked off everything and they go in shit cunt corner.
Yeah.
Never to come out again with all the other shit cunts. That's possibly the
most
most
time.
It's worse
than Room 101.
It is. You do not want to be in shit cunt corner. That's possibly the most time I've ever said cunt in one sentence, especially on a podcast. That's possibly a record. Guinness Book of Records. There should be a little thing for the amount of time to say cunt.
Do it another time just to...
Cunt.
in case
there's somebody that was just pipping me at the post there. So loads of things happened. Anyway, there's another one. Hang on. Where are we? In 1936, I've missed one. 1914, Germany declared war with Russia. 1936, 11th Summer Olympics were opened by Adolf Hitler. Yeah. And today in 1944 was the date of the last entry of Anne Frank's diary. She was captured not long after.
Really?
1st of August 1944 was her last entry. Have you seen the Anne Frank Museum?
I've seen it. I've never been. I've always wanted to go.
There was a tour and exhibition. It came to my college years ago. I don't know how old I was, in my late 20s. And it was brilliant. Really, very, very good. But the Anne Frank Museum itself is really good. And the book, have you read the book?
No.
It's really good. So if you haven't read Anne Frank Diaries, anybody, you really should. It's excellent. Also, thinking about that, have you seen the programme called The Tattooist of Auschwitz on telly? Have you actually watched it? Yeah.
I've seen bits of it, but it's
really, really,
it's on
really
a
good.
list.
So, Tattooist of Auschwitz, I can't even say it.
It's on
Tattooist
Netflix.
of Auschwitz. No, I think it's on Disney or something like that. Disney
I've seen
or
it
Prime
somewhere.
or something like that. Excuse me. And it's basically about a Jewish man who was captured by the Germans and he became the tattooist of Auschwitz. But there's much more to it and how that role almost protected him and saw him through, and a person that he met while he was there. And there's quite a twisted story to the whole thing and how it all ends out. But at the very, very end, try and keep up with it till the end because you actually see the real guy. The actual tattooist of Auschwitz at the end being interviewed. He's dead now, unfortunately. But you saw his original interview. Oh my God, what a guy. When you actually hear about his story and you see him sitting in front of you, you can't help but go, oh,
yeah,
what a man, what a man. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. Really, really good. Okay, so I was going to do this in July, but quite frankly, I forgot. And it's still July now for us.
Yeah. I mean, we're still in July.
Only just. But July was Independent Retailer Month. Now, I know that doesn't really sound very exciting, and it's probably not. But I want to bring this up because in the day of Amazon and high street shops closing and all that kind of thing, we need to look after our independent retailers. And I don't mean just on the high street, just independent retailers in general. And if you go on Etsy, you'll see loads of them out there. But we are the equivalent of independent retailers but in the podcast world.
Okay.
Let me explain more. I want to tell you why it's dead important to follow people like us, podcasts like us. If you're a podcast listener on a regular basis like me, you'll know that there's loads of podcasts out there that are under certain umbrellas. So it could be Wondery, it could be the BBC, Global Player. These are all sort of hosts, if you like, to lots of different podcasts, especially the BBC. The BBC's got loads. I follow loads of those. But the podcasters that do that, they get a salary, they get paid.
Yeah.
Or they don't, but the BBC or whoever will give them the studio time and the production and stuff, and they turn up and deliver the goods, basically. So it can work a few different ways. But at the end of the day, they're being backed by a big company with a lot of money behind them to throw those podcasts out there under your nose. There's one in particular, I love it, keep saying, it's called We Can Be Weirdos. It hasn't got many more episodes than us, but it's done very, very well because it's got, is it the BBC or the Global? Whoever it is behind them. It's the BBC, pushing them. And so it's got all these millions of listeners already. And it's great. But that's because they've got that, the money behind them, the influence, the big corporation behind them. And most podcasts out there now have got that behind them. But then you've got little old us and people like us, and we are not backed by the likes of the BBC and Global Player and everything. It's just us, and we come to this amazing little studio in Liverpool, which we pay for ourselves, and we come up with all of our own stuff, and, you know, pretty authentic in our own little way. And there's pros and cons to that. The cons are, obviously, we don't have the financial backing. We don't have the company behind us to push it out there. We have to do all of that ourselves. We have to do all of the back-breaking marketing stuff ourselves. But the pros are that there's no limits to our creativity. Yeah. So we can say cunt whenever we want.
We can say cunt.
We can talk about whatever we want. We can talk about sex, swing and BDSM, and there's no limitations whatsoever. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some more risque podcasts out there that are under these umbrellas, but they do have a little bit of... Censoring, definitely. There's certain things they can and can't say. But they're still very successful. So my message to you is, if you watch us, please tell your friends and, you know, maybe throw in the conversation why it's important to follow people like us. For all the other little podcasts out there who aren't backed by the big boys, and you'll see the ones that are, because it normally says underneath on Spotify or whatever, who they're represented by. And then you've got people like us, it just says, what was it? Padded Cell Podcast and nothing else. So basically it's very clear. So I am asking for your support to follow us little people out there who are trying to make our way ourselves. By all means, follow the rest of them as well. But like your little high street shops and your independent retailers who really, really need your love, so do we, to keep us going, basically, don't we? So yes, Independent Retailer Month it was in July. So I want to say hello to our new Patreons. We've got Amy, Jade, Roll, R-O-L-L, Kat, Sarah W, Carl W, Raven, Jolie, Wilkie, Lou, Christy, Neil M, there's loads, Gracie, Ed, Lisa Marie, Cooper, Kay, and Chris.
It's a mouthful.
That was a lot. And a consensual nipple tweak to our OG 100.
A Nancy nipple cripple, if you will.
A Nancy nipple cripple. So my segment today, I am swiftly moving on to it. I was inspired by The Wizard of Oz by Jim. I've told you about The Wizard of Oz before. Mm-hmm. Have I told you about this?
I think so.
I don't know. I was with Ryan maybe, I don't know. And I named him The Wizard of Oz because he keeps coming up with all this stuff. And he sent this over to me, and I don't know whether I'd do this myself, to be honest. But I can see why it's... interesting for some people, and why some people go, no, it's fucking macabre. It's weird. Me and Jimmy are a little bit on the fence. We like the idea of it, but wouldn't do it ourselves. And it's tattoo preservation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this. Now, before I do this, I actually contacted the company that I'm referring to, and they have had direct contact with me and have been talking to me about it. And they're really lovely, really, really interesting guys. And let me tell you all about them. But before I do, around 35 to 40% of people in the UK have tattoos. I thought it'd be more than that.
I thought that would be higher.
30 to 40% have got at least one tattoo. Yeah. How many tattoos have you got?
Couldn't tell you.
Loads.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're like me, that one tattoo has become one big massive tattoo.
Yeah.
So it might have been like 5 or 6 sittings, but it's become one big tattoo.
Yeah.
So I think possibly I've had, I don't know, about 15 separate tattoos done, which have become one big tattoo across my body, I think. Maybe more, actually.
Come back to me. I'll have a think.
Have you got any tattoos, Calvin?
I don't.
Haven't you?
No.
Don't fancy tattoos?
I do want some at some point, but it's I know that when I start, I'll just keep going.
That's the thing.
I haven't got the money for that.
It's a very addictive habit, mate.
Yeah.
So once you start, make sure you got a few quid behind you.
I reckon about 12 or 13 plus. Obviously, my sleeve is still a work in progress.
Yeah.
Got 2 more booked in September.
Oh, have you? You're getting that finished?
No, I'm getting.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
That's going to hurt.
I'm excited though.
Are you? What are you getting done? Or can't you tell?
I'm getting little hearts around my nipples and then spider webs.
That'll be very lovely. Has Mabel got a nipples tattoo?
Hers are blacked out.
Oh,
so I'm debating whether to just keep the heart or whether to black them out, but I'm leaning towards having it.
I mean,
clear.
you get them out often enough, you may as well get them tattooed.
Yeah.
She's always got her tits out, Calvin.
Don't believe her, Calvin.
You fucking liar. I couldn't get my nipples tattooed. It's very sensitive.
Apparently it takes a really long time though, because they go...
Yeah, exactly.
And they like react.
So are you getting like the skin around the areola done, or are you getting the actual areola tattooed? The brown bit?
So it'll be around it, but that's what I'm debating. Do I black it out or keep it?
Oh, I don't know. How do you stop your nipples going firm during the tattoo?
You just have to...
I mean, if you had a very nice tattooist, he'd be permanently like that, wouldn't he? Mine would.
So you know when they're like kind of flat?
Yeah.
But then sometimes they like
a bit.
scrunch up like a bumhole, don't they? And all the skin goes like...
Mine does that pretty regular, really.
But because they're constantly reacting, they do that.
Okay. While you're looking for your photograph then, I thought 30 to 40% was really low. I thought there'd be well more people with tattoos in the UK. And, that'd look amazing. Can you show that to the camera?
Which camera are you on?
That one.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you're getting around both nipples.
Yeah.
Maybe get one and see how it is.
So I'm going to get that done, and then I'll decide if I want the nipples blacking out. But I think I'm leaning towards just leaving it.
Yeah.
And then my nipple bars, I want to get little spiders.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Like spiders sitting in the web.
Get you. Well, like I say, you get them out often enough, so why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So about tattoos. Do you know what? That was a complete fluke. I actually didn't make the correlation that I was doing a tattoo story today. I've got a tattoo t-shirt on. You see it before?
Tattoo dog, yeah.
I love it. Little Dalmatian getting tattooed. So anyway, a lot of tattoos now become fine works of art. Haven't they? There's an awful lot of artists out there who are amazing. So it shouldn't be any surprise that some people opt to preserve their tattoos. But it was a fucking surprise to me. When Jim sent this over to me, I'm like, oh, shut up. And he went, honestly, it's real.
Yeah, no, I've seen this before.
Amazing. And there's a process that it goes through to preserve it and stuff. But I'm going to tell you more. So there's this company, it's called Save My Ink Forever in Ohio. And it's run by third generation morticians. It was opened in 2016, Michael and Kyle Sherwood. Now, I contacted Kyle and he messaged me back yesterday and he was lovely, absolutely lovely. I was just saying to him, is there anything that you specifically want me to put in there or that you want me to leave out, basically? But he might be up for a little interview at some point, which would be good. I mean, really interesting to hear some of the stories behind some of the tattoos. So if you're like this out there, after I've done this segment, give us some feedback. And if you like it, you want to do an interview, I'll have a little chat with Kyle. Kyle, first name terms, like you.
My mate Kyle.
Once. I know, yeah. He's actually going to watch this as well. So, hi, Kyle. Right, so they have this company, like I say, Save My Ink Forever in Ohio. And it was set up so people could either opt themselves to have their tattoos preserved or the family could do so. Now, it wasn't clear whether the person whose skin is being used has got to consent for it in advance. Or whether, let's say they didn't even know about it when they die, and then the day after they die, the wife's like, oh, look at this tattoo preservation, shall we do it? But he didn't consent for it. Can you still do it to a cadaver?
You have to be an organ donor.
Don't know.
Because skin's on there, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Don't know. So maybe that's a question for Kyle. So can somebody choose to have somebody else's skin removed? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to be chopped up. I can't lie. I wouldn't want bits of my skin missing when I go into the big fiery inferno.
I think it depends on like what your beliefs and stuff are, doesn't it? Like some people are really funny about donating their eyes in case they need to use them in the afterlife or whatever.
That. It's just a thought of having bits of me sliced off. Yeah. It's a bit cannibalistic.
Reminds me of when like they slice the ham in the butchers.
Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, so I'm not sure myself. I know Jimmy was a bit like, no, I wouldn't be doing that. But I can see why you've paid a lot of money on your tattoos and you've spent a lot of time and consideration thinking about what your tattoos are going to be. And sometimes they mean something to you a lot, don't they? Especially if it's for a loved one, and then that loved one can keep that thing. But I know that some people would find it macabre. So I'm really on the fence. And like I said, I've read a lot. I love the idea, but can I do it myself? Don't know.
What are you going to do with it though? Like hang her up on your wall?
You do.
Stick her on your fridge?
That's what you do, apparently. So, let's dig deeper a little bit more into this. It's in its 8th year of business now, and it's doing really well. Really, really well. And apparently people from the US, Canada and the UK can opt for this. I didn't think these guys are in the US, but apparently the whole transportation thing, it's not an issue. The time scale, they can be preserved and stuff like that. So you can opt to have just one tattoo removed. You can have a whole sleeve. You can actually have your whole body. If your whole body was tattooed, you can have the whole lot removed.
Like a bear on the floor.
Yeah, like a rug. And it's expensive, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. And you don't need to decide on the day the person's died. It can be like a couple of days later. There's things that they can do to help preserve the skin. But ideally, the family member would need to contact these guys as soon as possible, really. And they send a pack out to the funeral home. And that has like a video, an instruction leaflet and everything of how they remove the skin properly. And then it gets put into like this special chemical preservative, like a mixture of chemicals. And then it gets transported back over to the US or to wherever the people are.
So they have to take the skin off?
Yeah, not the family. The funeral home have to do it.
Yeah.
So the funeral home have also got embalmers in there, haven't they? So they're used to like removing fluids and making the body look more presentable for the family. But they would have to agree to do it. And from what I've read, there's quite a lot of funeral homes out there like, yeah, no, we don't really like this idea. No. It's not really for us. There's one particular story I'm going to tell you in a little bit where a guy had quite a lot removed and his wife couldn't find anywhere at first. It took quite a while to find somewhere. So I can imagine that some funeral homes were like, yeah, it's great, but it's not for us. We're not going to do that. Or we don't feel able. Imagine doing it wrong.
That's what I mean. It's got to be a skill, that.
Yeah. But apparently the process is really easy, and the video that they send with it's like an idiot guide. But, apparently it's very easy to follow, and the chances of it going wrong are pretty slim.
Yeah.
But what they say on their website is if something does go wrong in the removal or the transportation process, their labs can work miracles on them and they can bring them back. What they say is that once it gets to them, it goes to this special lab, and around 5 people work on it at any one time. And they'll stretch it out, but they'll also treat it. And they can improve like any blemishes that might have happened during the removal process. Or let's say that the person's had like a wasting disease, maybe the skin shriveled up a little bit. I think from what I can gather, they can treat the skin and they make it look all nice again. And then once that's done, it then goes off and it gets put into like a case, a framed case, glass case, or just like a glass case, which is UV protected, so the skin won't ever be harmed by UV. And it then gets sent over to the family. They can do whatever they want with it. Now, obviously, we're used to preserving, we keep ashes. We keep our ashes on a mantelpiece, or we make them into jewellery or whatever. So why is this any different? It's different because you're slicing bits off people, I suppose, and you're actually seeing their skin, how it was up on the wall. I can see how it would be different to some people, but is it? I've had my dog's ashes made into cufflinks for Jimmy. And you can see the ashes on the inside. Yeah. And they are his ashes as well. We had them sent off as just him being cremated. Is that any more macabre or less macabre than doing this? I don't know. So there's a couple of people, there's some examples of people who have had this done. And I've got some pictures. I've sent them over to you, Calvin. Mm-hmm. One is of a guy called Mark. And in his final days, he decided to get a tattoo. It represented him riding his bike and taking off onto his next adventure. I think you've got it there. It was in one of my other emails. He sadly passed away in 2015, but he wanted this tattoo to basically become his legacy. Yeah. He was very much about death isn't the end, and so this is just my next adventure. So he opted to get a tattoo just before he died to have it preserved.
Is this Chris or Mark? Sorry.
It's Mark, please. Mark. Thank you. So there you go. That's his actual skin.
It's a little bit...
it looks like parchment.
Sons of Anarchy there, isn't it?
It is actually, yeah.
Like
now,
Jack's at the end.
The other one is Chris. Now, Chris pretty much had his whole body tattoo preserved.
That doesn't look like skin though, does it?
It doesn't, no. It doesn't. So the next guy's whole body, pretty much his whole body, preserved and encased. So what you can see here is his whole back and arms. I mean, that's an amazing tattoo.
See, now that weirds me out a little bit more.
Because you can see his body shape.
Yeah.
There's one, I don't know if it's his, and you can actually see the shape of the hand. He preserved his hand tattoo. So you can see that has been basically on somebody's back. But look at the colours, the way they've preserved it.
Like that feels a bit more real than the other ones, doesn't it?
Yeah. But depending on your reasons for wanting this, the fact that it looks real, I mean, this is the back of somebody's husband. This is going to be, in their house or whatever. She can look at that and like, that is my husband still there.
I don't think I'd want that reminder every day.
Wouldn't you?
No.
I'm wondering if it would aid or hinder the grieving process.
Like imagine 5 years from then you move on, you've got a new fella coming around and there's fucking John on the wall.
And he was only 41 when he died. So the chances are his wife might meet somebody again. Now, apparently, this particular piece, the CEO of the business went and oversaw the removal of this because it was so huge. And it's the biggest that's ever been done, the biggest removal. Like I say, he had everything removed. It wasn't just his back and arms. I think he had his thighs and everything removed.
I thought Calvin was sizing himself up then. He's just gone.
So he went and oversaw this thing, and now, because it's so like magnificent, really, and unusual, it goes on display to tattoo conventions and different types of conventions all around the US for people to go and see. So his wife has donated it. I don't think she takes it back in between times, but she donates it and travels around the country. Yeah, she goes with him, maybe, yeah. So part of me loves the concept. Part of me, I don't know whether I'd want to see Jimmy's tattoos framed on my mantelpiece for life.
No.
I don't know. I just think part of the grieving process is putting some things behind you, not forgetting people, but moving forward. And to have that staring at me every day, I don't know whether I could.
No.
I've never been through it, so I couldn't tell you, but I'm still on the fence. I love that other people are doing it. I love it. I love the concept. For those that want to do it. I think
it's amazing that it's an option.
Oh my God, I think it's amazing. And I told Kyle this.
Yeah.
Amazing. But for me personally, I don't know whether I'd want to have Jimmy's skin on my wall. And I don't know whether I'd want mine, to be fair.
Hanging up somewhere.
Yeah.
No.
Hanging up by my tits. So how much does this cost? So an individual tattoo starts at just under $1,700, just for one. A full arm sleeve is $5,000 to $7,500 each. A full leg sleeve tattoo is $10,000 to $15,000 each. A full chest and back tattoo is $15,000 to $20,000, and a full bodysuit is $80,000 to $100,000.
No, thank you.
I mean, it's a lot of money. They do have like these like insurance packages you can just pay into them when you're alive. Obviously, you're not dying at that point. You just pay into it, and then when you do die, it can cover the bill. I don't know about this guy, Chris. I don't know how he paid for it. Maybe he has an insurance policy he used. I just don't know. It's a lot of money, but for him, it's obviously a really special memory for him, and his artwork that he spent a lot of money on is there preserved for life. Now, what Kyle did say, there's obviously some ethical things around this. He said that they don't do faces. So if somebody's got a face tattoo, they're not going to remove somebody's face. I mean, that would be a hard no for me. I mean, I love Jim. I just don't want his flattened face looking at me.
No.
And they don't do genitals. If anybody's got the fanny tattoo, they won't slice the lips off and frame it. So,
damn.
Would you get your fanny tattooed?
No.
No, I mean you do. I know you get that out a lot as well, but I don't know. I don't know whether it. No, it's a bit vascular, isn't it? It bleeds a lot and all that down there. And also just having your fanny out in front of a tattooist.
Oh, that wouldn't bother
close.
me.
You've seen how close you sometimes get. Like they're like that sometimes. Imagine that close.
Yeah, I don't think that'd bother me.
BV doing that.
Oh God,
I haven't got BV. Anyway,
just to clarify.
Yeah. So I can't find anywhere in the UK that provides this service. But like I say, this company, they do actually take orders from the UK as well as Canada. And there's no sort of real limitations with regards to transporting chemicals or, human remains, if you like. There's obviously licenses and things that have got to be put in place, and these guys have got that. And I think they've had to deal with specific funeral homes, morticians. Maybe they've got to have special training licenses. I'm not too sure. But there's quite a lot around this, really. Everything is done with respect and dignity. I mean, when you look at their website, it's called savemyinkforever.com, if you want to have a look at it. The way it's done is very much with dignity. At every stage, the family are treated very well. And even like that, the body part, it's treated, it's got to be treated delicately anyway, because I'm sure it's quite easy to destroy it during the process. But it's still treated like a person. That's a person's remains, it's a loved one's remains. So I really like it. I like how they do this. But would I do it? Don't think so.
No.
So over to you.
I don't think that'll be for me.
In the comments on YouTube, etc., let me know, is this something that you would do? Have you done it? Do you know that somebody that has done it? If you got any photos, love a good photo. So feel free to share. Now, Calvin, I did send something else over to you. I don't know whether you can play it, though.
You did, yes.
It's an MP3. This is my dangly bit. Swiftly moving on.
Yep.
Don't play it yet?
No.
So I've gone on nuts on AI, haven't I? This is the last time I'm doing AI.
For now.
I did me... What?
For now.
I did me AI cartoon and me AI Muppet, and I did yours. And I found this AI voice thing. And I decided to ask AI to do our introduction in its voice. But what it said is, I spoke into it a couple of times, and then it sort of tried to use the tone of my voice to create an AI voice. But it hasn't got a Scouse accent. So it's sort of got my tone, but it hasn't got a Scouse accent, so it sounds a bit weird. So I don't know.
You know I've got a phobia of robots, don't you?
Oh. Okay, well, you're fucked in the future.
I know.
That's all I can say. AI's taken over.
Hate
So, Calvin, can we play it?
Are you a deviant?
Oh.
Like those of us who binge watch serial killer programs, laugh at the stupid shit people do, and revel in anything adult? Well, you've found your people. Join us as we crack open the door to the padded cell and release the insanely stupid, the weirdly wonderful, and those who choose to live outside societal norms. We delve into the strange, macabre, the sexy, and the outrageous. So, if you're a deviant, you have your place with us in the padded cell.
So,
sounds as monotone as me. Maybe I'm AI.
You are a robot.
Face doesn't move.
Your face doesn't
monotone.
move. That's it, yeah.
Miserable cunt. Maybe I am a robot.
iRobot.
Sex machine.
So it's sort of had a little bit of my tone, but no feeling. There's no, is it cadences? There's no accent whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could have paid a bit more to get a better one, but I wasn't going to do that. But I was like, they've got a long way to go before they actually copy voices. However, I have heard recently that some actors and actresses are going nuts because AI have managed to recreate certain actors and actresses' voices and are using them, which is really, really bad because it obviously takes work away from them, doesn't it? Right then. Thanks for that, Calvin.
I got shouted at, didn't I, for putting an AI image on Instagram, do you remember?
Yeah. You got to say, though, haven't you, now, if it's AI generated?
Yeah.
Right then. Got a bit of time. So, what have you got for us, kid?
So, we were going to chat about, in the news this weekend, if you're anything to do with our lifestyle, you probably have seen Swingathon. I know people have said to us, what do you think? What do you make of this?
Yeah.
So let's discuss, what do we make of this?
The actual event itself, I think it's great. I haven't been. I've heard mixed feedback, but the very fact that there's people in the lifestyle willing to put themselves out there and to put all the security measures in place that they need to make everybody safe, and the money actually that goes into it, I doff my cap. We did a smaller version ourselves years ago, didn't make a penny out of it, had an absolutely amazing time. We'll never do it again because it was hard. It was really, really hard.
Yeah, so if you don't know, Swingathon, so from what I've seen this year, is split into 3, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
One camp for content, where you can take pictures, images, videos, a swingers camp and a kink camp.
Yeah.
Don't know why they all need to be split. I understand the content part.
Yeah.
Swingers and kinksters.
Yeah. But
I've
then
just
some
mixed them up.
fetishists don't you?
Yeah.
Swingers, don't they?
There's a divide whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that it's all over the news, isn't it? That
Yeah.
why is it such big news? Just because people...
Thank
that was
you.
a big one.
Calvin's had a
Calvin,
curry.
fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like an extra long one. Thank you.
4 coffees.
That's how we had to say 4 coffees. Fucking hell.
Must be rattling. The fact that people can't just go about their day-to-day life, people who enjoy sex, people who enjoy kink, so what? At what point is like the media and stuff going to get over it?
Yeah.
Why is it such a big deal?
It really rattles my cage. Really rattles me cage. It's like this is 2024. People have been having sex for years. People have been kinky for years. People have been camping for years. We put it all together and all of a sudden it's like, not front page news, but it may as well be front page news.
Yeah.
And years ago when there was other festivals, it was actually a centre spread in a really big paper and they were an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
And they had full face photos in it.
Yeah.
And what they did, I don't want to say the name because we don't in Liverpool.
The scum.
Thank you. They sent in journalists disguised, if you like, as swingers. They had body cams on. And you're a fucking bunch of twats. I fucking hate that newspaper. And they thought that it was okay to post those photos online with full face photos. And they put them in the centre page of their newspaper as well. And all people were doing were just having a nice time. And, you know, just because it's a swinging festival doesn't mean that people are fucking every minute. They're just having a nice time with their fellow swinging friends and they might have sex. They might have sex, and they might have sex
They
with a
don't
stranger.
even necessarily have sex with other people. Like some people are just in this lifestyle because it's so welcoming. So they're just putting everyone in the same little box, saying, "Oh, dirty swingers" or whatever.
Yeah, but they're sensationalising it.
Yeah,
and I
just
don't.
clickbait, isn't it?
But we know from reading a lot of things that we've seen on Facebook following the media coverage of this, a lot of people don't care.
No.
A lot of people are like, so people are in a field having sex, so what?
Yeah.
They don't care. It's the media that are sensationalising it. And any media people that are watching out there, you need to listen to me because people do not give a shit about this anymore. This is not selling you papers. It's making you look stupid because in 2024, people have got bigger fish to fry. Like what fucking twat's going to be running the country next? And how they're going to pay the bills. They don't give a shit about people having sex anymore. It's old news. It's shit that you were doing in the 80s and you should have stopped years ago because we're all fucking bored of it. All right. So you just got to stop. It's making you look stupid. That was today's rant.
That was a Vicky rant.
It happens once every episode.
That was a reel in itself.
But really, there's just no need for it anymore.
It is. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like,
yeah. When you see
unnecessary.
all the things that they could be covering in the news, stuff that actually people need to know about, the media have got an opportunity to educate people. They have got the readers there. And what do you choose to do with that? You choose to sleaze your way around these stupid stories that mean nothing.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's been stories in the Echo about Townhouse plenty. And usually it's done with a lot of respect and stuff, isn't it? It's done in a positive way. It engages people.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, look at these dirty mings.
No. And that's what they're making people out to be.
Yeah.
Just because people choose to have sex with more than one person or they choose to go and beat somebody against a tree, you're weird and you deserve a centre spread in the newspaper.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
they probably
no.
write these stories and go home and cheat on the wife.
Exactly this. Or they're just completely frigid and have never experienced anything like this in their lives and think that everybody else is frigid and doesn't know anything about it. Well, I've got news for you. You need to stop with this old news and nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
So stop reporting on sex and fetish and all that because you're making yourselves look really silly.
It's really boring.
It is boring. Just look at your Facebook comments. Look down your Facebook comments. All you freelance fucking journalists who are probably watching this, look at your feedback and read the room and just stop.
Yeah.
Basically, there's just no need for it, is there?
Yeah.
Just let everybody live their lives and report about stuff that actually means something and can educate people.
Yeah.
You know, actually use your time on this earth for something good and stop being knobheads. Honestly, there's just no need for it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What she said.
Yeah. Right, we've got time to do a little fetish factoid. Quick one.
Yeah.
Very quick. Spectrophilia. You can guess what that is. Spectrophilia.
Ghosts.
Yes, well done.
Yes.
He's into it.
Yes, he's well into it. A little spirited wank every now and then.
That's the spirit.
So, spectrophilia is a fetish. And it's to do with people who are sexually aroused and attracted by ghosts or spirits. And it involves alleged sexual encounters with spirits.
I used to know a girl when I was a teenager. A girl I was kind of friends with, not one of my buddies, but you know, you're associated with.
Yeah. And
she was always a little bit odd. And she told everyone she got beat up by ghosts. And she did you hear that?
Oh, yes, I heard it.
That was a ghost.
Bloody hell.
But yeah, she used to tell everyone she'd get beaten by ghosts and she'd be like touched and stuff.
Her dad. I'm sorry, but that's probably, in her mind, as a child, that's probably what her brain's done to allow her to deal with it.
I mean, this is like late teens, so you never know.
Well, spectrophilia is a real thing to some people. You've heard of succubus and incubus? So a succubus is basically an evil spirit that takes on a female human form and seduces men. You could be a succubus.
Yeah.
Look at them lips.
Yeah.
And an incubus is basically the opposite. It's a demon that takes on the form of a human man and seduces women. And there's people out there who believe that they've actually had sex with spirits. There's some people who fantasize about being in relationships with spirits, and the people reckon that it's because they're obviously going through a grieving process and the person that they're fantasizing over is often their partner. But sometimes it's not. It's just some like random dead person, basically. They don't really care what ghost it is. Any old ghost will do, as long as they've got a willy or whatever. Yeah. So reconnection with loved ones, that's sort of where they're coming from with that. But no, most people who are into this sort of thing just want a good go along by a ghosty finger or a willy, basically. Now, I did have a story. Oh yeah, a personal story.
It's less messy, wouldn't it, really?
This person said, I believed in ghosts ever since I was a young child, going for overnight stays at camp. When the beautiful young women who were counsellors told ghost stories around the campfire, I would become so aroused I'd sometimes sneak off into the woods to masturbate.
Oh, fuck off.
Somehow sex and ghosts have had a connection for me ever since. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I'd love to have a succubus type encounter one day, to be overtaken by a spiritual force that is greater and stronger than myself. I don't share these fantasies with friends, as most don't believe these kinds of spirits or phenomena occur, but a guy can dream, right?
So just share it with all the strangers on the internet.
That must have been on Reddit. Everybody shares shit on Reddit. But so there you go. I don't really fancy having sex with a ghost, so I'd rather have something to grab hold of, to be honest with you. You know, something tactile. But I mean, you know,
can you go hard if you're a ghost?
Yeah.
Can you go hard if you're a ghost?
Do you mean go hard? You're like,
well, are they going to fucking penetrate you?
I don't know. Find out. Summon one up. You've got a t-shirt, summon demons.
I'll go lie in the club and just say, Terry.
Terry the townhouse ghost.
I'm waiting.
I've got a hypothesis that you need to prove or disprove for me, please.
Touch me.
I think there's something that, what was that film years ago, The Entity? A woman was raped,
I love The
think,
Entity.
wasn't she? But just lying there and then just being woken up
by,
and like, you know, what's that?
I'll go on then.
Just imagine myself just like, I'm all of a sudden moving and there's nothing there. And then I come.
Sounds like an easier option sometimes.
Just lie there and come, no work whatsoever.
Nothing to clean up.
You can't see it. So you can't get on top. You can't give it a blowjob. You can't do nothing. All you can do is lie there and accept what's coming to you. Exactly, yeah. Anyway, on that ghostly bombshell, If you're binge watching, put the kettle on. We'll see you in 5. If not, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
And there we have it. Another day made better by listening to the Curators of Chaos. Thanks for dropping by. And if you enjoyed the show, we'd really appreciate you sharing the Love the Padded Cell podcast with your friends. Don't forget to give us a follow on our socials, maybe some 5-star reviews, and feel free to send us an email to medic@thepaddedcellpodcast.co.uk, or even interact with us on Facey, Insta, and our other socials, because we love chatting to you. Make sure you stop by next week because, as Bowie says, I don't know where I'm going next, but I promise it won't be boring. Catch you soon.